Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. It's your host, Samurai Kit Kat. I know. I just pump out so much content. I am the content lord. I do things and all sorts of things. Mostly just arts and video game. But I just do what I do. I do what I love, man. I just do what I love. And yeah. So we've been doing that. We're gonna do our best to, of course, get to completing Ambi. Hopefully we can get to it today. I'm gonna get dialed in. We're gonna do the thing, so we're gonna get ready. First and foremost, disclaimer: music today presented by Carl Casey. Carl Casey of White Bat Audio. You can find his music on Bandcamp.com if you want to download it for yourself, or you can find it on YouTube. And the cherry on top with Carl Casey and his music is that it is royalty free, copyright free. Essentially, you can utilize it for any of your projects or online resourcing and video making. As far as YouTube and Twitch is concerned, the only thing that he asks is ensuring that you mention him in some way, shape, or form. And that way, everything is kosher. And then lastly, of course, we are utilizing Hoyoverse's artwork, the official artwork for Ambi in the video game Zenless Zone Zero. And this character is being used for Creative Commons purposes and learning purposes only. We will not be redistributing this artwork. We are not making this artwork for any sort of monetary gain as far as in a physical sense. So, therefore, Creative Commons, all that good, fun stuff. That being said, let's get right on into it. We're not going to waste any time today. Let's rock and roll. Okay, so last we left off, we did the green bits last time. We did all them little green bits. All those bits and pieces. Everything's looking good, looking polished. Like I said, I'm kind of going to take my own liberties here. And I'm just going to kind of do what I would do. And then we're going to compare side by side as far as like how the official artwork looks compared to like my artwork. And really, it should be obviously similar, but with some nuance and definitely some different design philosophy going on here. There is one thing I did notice that I did not catch was this right here needs to be green. So we got some work to do there before we move on. So let's go ahead and get our base color again. And really how we get that base color, just blink off these other layers, right? And then just grab that base color and hit that right there, just like that. Put those back on. Probably not these top ones here because we want to try and get the best that we can get here. Of course, as far as the shadowing, and we know this is going to be one of the darkest layers, darkest shadows here. So we're just going to go around just like that. Perfect. Beautiful. Botimus. Alright, so this is my shadowing, right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Okay. That's glow. That's my shadow. And then we're just going to take this real quick here. Get the soft airbrush up and rolling. Get some of that darkness in there. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. This does need to be pretty much pure black. So we are going to like highlight this area with the selection tool and just essentially fill that in with a super dark green. Not going pure black, but close enough. Okay. Fantastic. Alright, so that should finish it up for the green bits. Sorry, I have nasal issues. Just because, why the fuck not? Welcome to my own hell. Okay, so next thing that we are going to be participating in is, I think, all the black bits. I think there is a ton of black parts that need to be filled in this artwork. I mean, it's just, like, if we go back to the original her gloves, pretty much everything. There's a lot of the dark gray that we need to fill in with Miss Ambi, so we need to get started on that. I also did not realize, let's go back to our line art. Let's just select one of the line arts here, because it looks like I did not realize that there was actually these lines here, so we're just gonna fill them in. Easy enough. We're done. We're done, we got it done. Okay. So there is like a cutoff, like right about here. Perfect. Right. Yeah, there's probably going to be a thing here or there that I'm going to miss, or I just didn't consider, or whatever, right? Whatever. So the first black area that we're going to do is, I believe, the bolts. I think that's a good starting point. So create a new layer. I'm just going to put in arm bolts. Arm bolts. And then we're just going to grab from our swath over here. This should be our base color. Just want to verify what all is like. Okay, so this is all, okay, that is all gray. And just make sure everything is colored in. Fantastic. First thing that we're going to focus on is getting those dark shadows done. So, new layer, click to below. Let's grab the next darkest shade. Yeah, this was base. Dark shade there. So if our light source is coming from this end, then we're going to probably have something like this. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. And then something like this. There's not going to be a whole lot of shadow on these bolts because of where the light is coming from. This side, however, is going to be pretty much just all shadowed in. Except for this bolt here. That bolt's going to be a little bit different in the story. That one's going to be shadowed in. So we might as well just use the darkest shadow that we have. And then as far as this is concerned, we're going to do it like an elliptical. And then a little shadow down here. And then a little bit down there. Boop. Because it should be shining. You know, the light should be bouncing off this. This bolt should be protruding a little bit out into the light, so it makes sense to have it like this. You know, making sense and actually doing things. That was always a completely different story, right? Nice. A little bit of line there, make it like a little ridge. It's got like a little ridge. It's got a ridge. Okay, now we're going to grab the next darkest color, which is probably going to be the darkest color for this side here. We're just going to keep the shades on the same layer. Just a tiny little smoke right there, following that same kind of curvature. There we go. And then this right here. Something like this. And then we'll just do a smaller elliptical here. There we go. Looking good, looking good. And then this right here, we're actually going to do like a elliptical this way because the light, we're basically focusing on an ambient light source, right? So like I said, everything has a light source, especially the leading edge of an object that should be completely shadowed, right? So we still need to put some sort of shadowing in here. We are going to be leaving a little bit of that lighter shadow though, just because again, there should be some ambient light on it. And then here, just swoop it around over there. And then this, since the inside of this should be pretty much like non-existent type deal. It should be very dark. We may actually just go ahead and fill this in. Yeah, oh, we can't do that. So let's go ahead and zoom in here and select it. There we go. Bodemus. Ready? As far as like the last darkest of the dark, you know, it's pretty much pure black. And really, the only thing that we're going to do this for is the inside of this thing. Zoom on in here. Like I said, don't ever be afraid to get to know your artwork. All right. Looking good in the neighborhood. All right, next we're going to do our actual shadow layer. So we're just going to keep this on. And what we're going to do is, since there's a lot of light refraction in metal, and these are supposed to emulate metal, right? So we're going to get a nice, like, fairly small brush size, and we're just going to create some streaks. Now, I don't know if I want horizontal or vertical just yet. I'm just kind of playing around with this idea. Horizontal might be the way to go. And then we might do like a shine vertically, along with horizontal. Let's get a bigger size here. That is essentially, let's see here. And we just went down like to a super low size. gonna do some pinstriping. All right. So this is a lot of our shadowing done, right? So it's very shadowed. It's looking kind of flat a little bit, but we are about ready to bring it to life. So let's go get another layer. Now this is going to be our essentially highlights. And so the first thing we're going to work with, of course, is the first set of highlight. And this is going to be located just like that. And we're going to bring this down just like this. Because the light is going to be in the opposite direction than your shadow. If we go over top of stuff that we've already done, I mean, just, you know, it's okay. It's okay. Some things are just meant to disappear. And really all at this point in time, I'm just kind of feeling this out. Okay, that's our first highlight. Next is going to be this one over here. This is going to be, like I said, kind of like the vertical. And so let's get this going there. There we go. A little bit of bend there. Still not done, we still gotta do a glow effect, but the idea of this is to give that illusion that there's some shine on these bolts. We might actually do the darker color for this one and just do a very thin line up there. This one we can do. We are also going to do like more of a full circle like this. There we go. Following the edge. A lot of the edges in metal are going to have the rub marks, rub burn, whatever you want to say. Just from wear and tear and so on and so forth. This knowledge here that I'm passing along is just something that simply you just kind of have to know. And you have to be able to look at objects and look at old metal objects and stuff like that. And you'll see what I'm talking about, where the leading edge of metal, anything metal, is typically highlighted a little bit because those are the first contact points for wear and tear. Now the question is how do I want to approach like some streaking across this? I think this is a good one. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, now we're gonna do another layer. Make sure we make this a glow layer, because this is gonna be the one where we take our, essentially like a pure white. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. We're gonna see. We'll try it. And essentially what we're gonna be doing is just glossing some of these parts. Lighting them up a little bit. See what that does? It just makes it look so much more metallic. That looks so good. All right, like I said though, we need to get that little bit lighter. This little lighter one right here, and do the vertical marks on this. I might have to flip this around. Back to our glow layer, get that pure white again. Hit that back one a little bit. This bolt right here, man, this one looks really good. This right here, I do need to erase a little bit of some overage inside. I really don't want anything inside this. And that's essentially it. That's metalwork in a nutshell. It's really not that hard. When you finish metalwork, God, I love metalwork so much. I fucking love metal so much. And, you know, working with and making things look like it's actually metallic and stuff like that is just, it's so satisfying. And as you've seen the whole process, it doesn't take that much. Work with your hard shadows, get a good gradient shadow, then work with your hard highlights and go over top of those shadows. Don't be afraid to do it. Yes, we deleted some of our work, but that's the point. And then you make your streaks, just a few streaks to give it like some sort of shine and some wear and tear. Follow those edges along the metal parts, and then create shine spots, and then make a glow layer, get pure white, and just do some light going over top of some certain areas to just give it some shine. Give it some shine. And you will have yourself some metal bolts, metal anything, whatever it is metal, it will look like metal. Absolutely. So we basically did it the Hoyoverse way up here, which is fine. I mean, it works, it does things. It's pretty cartoony. And this is still cartoony too, by the way. But in my personal sense, this is kind of like semi-realism cartoony. But this is what a lot of animes actually do. And it looks phenomenal if done right. So yeah, that's great. It's good stuff, good stuff. All right, cool. Bolts are done. Next thing that we're going to be working on is the, I believe, let's work on the arm sleeves. I like to work on some small stuff first because it kind of gets me in the groove of things before I start tackling some of these really expansive spots. So, create a layer, name it, arm sleeves. Excellent. And then we're going to get that base coat again. Because again, everything is the same, but we won't be coloring clothing the same way as we do metal. And so, you know, it's definitely going to look different. And it's mostly going to be somewhat similar to what we did with the green bits that we've already done, because there's nothing there. We're just going to keep the shading style the same. All right, arm sleeves done. Next layer. Now we could actually incorporate the fingerless gloves into this if we wanted to, and we might. Let's go ahead and just do that, because that would be one less step to do. And it is also nice to go ahead and include as much stuff as possible when you are in your coloring phase, but know where your cutoffs are, and just take a section at a time. I already told everybody this to begin with, and like probably the very first art streams when we started like just drafting Ambi, which was just focus on one thing at a time, don't overload yourself, and go for it. Okay, so arm sleeves, that's good. Okay, this is our first drop layer, and now we're gonna do our first round of shading. Same concept, just get the first lightest shade going on first, and clearly, I would say pretty much this arm, maybe except for like a sliver, is shaded, because this big green sleeve thing is pretty much covering it. I don't know. Let's go ahead and just shade it. And the same over there. It's the same concept. The gloves are going to be a different story though. So this is actually going to give us some insight. So this right here is essentially the first shade zone. Good stuff. Same concept here. There's shade zone. There we go. And this one here is actually going to be in the light a little bit. So it should actually kind of do something more like this. Something like that. And then this one over here, pretty much the whole thing is shaded. All right, next, darker shade, baby, and right there. Now this is actually going to be following the curvature of that sleeve, because of the fact that this sleeve is making a shadow. Now if we pay attention to things, right, this shadow on her arm is from this sleeve here. So what we want to do is continue that shadow onto her arm sleeve. Details like that make a huge fucking difference in how you present your artwork, because now it looks like I just drew one fucking line like this, right? That's the point between a beginner artist and an intermediate and a professional, is understanding when you have something lifted off the skin. And it doesn't matter, like maybe I made the shadow here, maybe I made the shadow over here. Obviously it depends on how I want my light source, right? The light is telling me where my shadow needs to go. And granted, this isn't the most accurate shadow, it's just a representation. But knowing that I chose about this much space for my shadow, and I understand that my curvature is going downwards, so therefore this needs to go downwards as well. See how nice and uniform that is when we do something like that? It's just things like that that you need to pay attention to. This one here is the same concept, but we also have her breast and her chest area in general in the way. So we are still going to follow this curve, but eventually we're going to stop ourselves and go up. We can go up at a curve, it doesn't matter. It's just the simple fact of, well, there's only a little bit of light coming through And most of the sleeve and this breast area is actually contributing to the rest of the shading in this zone. We can even make it a little less, you know. It's all up to you. Just so long as there's some sort of representation that some light is coming through because it makes sense. It could be completely blocked off too, as well. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary or anything like that. Absolutely could be blocked off. And then as far as this goes, this is closer to the cuff. There's not going to be as much light towards the cuff. There's also not going to be as much light when we get closer to this the palm of the hand. There isn't much else to do with that glove. And then we're moving on to this one. Kind of same concept. We're going to follow this sleeve around. And I'm just going to figure out what I want to do with this hand, because technically it is pretty far in the back. Do we want to cover this much up? I think that looks okay. Because I would say that her thumb is like coming out a little bit, is what that is. I'm basically saying that her hand is peering out from the light just a touch. And really, if we're taking this into example, really we should be like something like this. Yeah, that's better. Because obviously I left the tops of these fingers somewhat lighter because they aren't really being blocked by a whole lot. The sleeve is kind of in the way, whatever, but there's still going to be some light getting through to this, even though it is more shaded. So that works. Do a little bit of roundness right there. And this is all just artistic liberty. Like, I can't stress enough that so long as it looks good, really not a lot of people are going to say a lot of shit about it. Again, of the things that I have already pointed out through this whole series of doing this, of the things that I don't agree with the artwork, you know, the original artwork of Ambi, you know, still people love that artwork and love the character design and love everything about it and have nothing to say about it. And that's just the testament to what I'm getting at. The point that I'm reaching is it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be exact. It just needs to be a good representation, and people have to understand what's going on, and you will succeed. You will absolutely succeed. All right, and then now we're going to take the darkest shadow. Bam. And really, we got a couple things. It's mostly on this side. We're going to follow this more closely and then go up. And then follow this close and go up. And then this right here. Of which then we're just going to kind of round that out a little bit, because, I mean, the bottom of the palm, you're not really going to see anything, right? Now, as far as doing a gradient shadow, right? We'll just hit it a little bit on this side of the glove. Nothing crazy. Hit that once. Hit this a little bit. And there's really not much to do. It's pretty much the glove is the only thing that's really going to be showing off that gradient. So, whatever. Next, do our highlights. So let's grab our base highlight color. And really the only thing that is going to receive this is her hand, because it's in the light. Very nice. And then the last highlight. Do something like an angle. Could do like a little shine on these fingers right here, because they are essentially, you know, light does go around objects to a degree. And there you go, something like that. There's no necessity of putting light anywhere else. Again, it's not like metal, so we're not going to be putting a glow effect on that. It's not really per se required. We can do it though, it is fine. So just to show, we will create another layer, add glow effect, make sure we're on our soft, airbrush, pop that down a little bit, and just hit that just a little bit. I mean, you know, just the tiniest bit. It's tiny. It's so small. Let me hit this real quick here. Yep, there we go. Perfect. And we're going to hit this over here a little bit too, just again, because everything does have some light to it. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. Alright, so that's our sleeves done, and gloves, I would say. Fantastic. Or, well, her inner sleeves, I guess you could say. We'll just add that little remark. Inner sleeves. Next thing I want to tackle is... I think I want to do... Oh boy, do I want to do the main jacket? Yeah, let's do the main jacket. And if I'm correct, yeah, everything, the rest of everything is gray. Absolutely everything. So, ooh, okay. This is gonna be a big one. And we're just gonna do main jacket. Main jacket. And we're just kind of steamrolling this, right? I mean, it's not taking too long to do. I do want to see what colors do they have for her. So they actually have. Oh, okay, I missed this. We will include the rings around the strips here. I don't know what they call eyelet holes. There we go. Eyelet holes for these tags, and we need to go back and make those strings green. So let's go back to our green bits. I forgot about those. Delete all this stuff, except for that. Well, don't delete it. just unmark it, and then grab that base color. Hit the base color there. There you go. Get it all colored in. Make sure everything is colored in. Fantastic. Put on the first wave of shadows, which that kind of already works. Looks like this is a hut, right? Oh, well, I'm a dipshit. And go to my... There we go. Add some depth, that's all I gotta do. We're going to erase this though because technically should be a little lighter on top. Perfect. And then the shading around the eyelet hole. There we go. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's about as much detail as you need to put in that. I mean, it's a very inconsequential part. So, going crazy and adding super detail to things that are just like going to get lost in the sauce per se. You're just not so much wasting time, but you're just putting in a lot of effort that you don't need to. Okay, that's fixed. Back to the main jacket. Okay. Guess what time it is? Base coat time! And I didn't put, and I'm also noticing this too, I didn't put any shadows in her hair up there. I don't know if there's supposed to be shadow up there or not. I'm sure there is, and I'm going to put it up there anyway, so As soon as we get the base coat done for this, we are going to go back up to the hair. Actually, I'm going to save those eyelets for when I do the buttons, because the buttons are technically metal. So we'll just save that for then. Let's erase this. There we go. And another reason why I really want to get Ambi done now, not that I'm racing to get things done and move on or whatever, but it is an act of wanting to move on, because I really want to get to Evelyn, and I really have this great idea for a Hoyoverse character, and so I just really want to do it. But I also don't feel 100% confident. But we'll save this later. 100% confident in actually being able to achieve or do the thing that I want to do. And so I am going to be taking this time to do these characters and do them right, at least in my personal opinion, what I believe is right, and to do the Hoyoverse justice, because I do plan to post my custom character up on the main forums, and I want people to enjoy it, and at the same time, and because this is a what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? A publicity stunt. I'm looking for a publicity stunt. And maybe I'll get myself out there a little bit more. This absolutely is a selfish thing to do. This is 100% selfish stuff. Selfish things, man. Selfish things. And it's, I absolutely am doing this for attention. 100%. There is no lies here. Complete honesty. I am absolutely doing it for attention. And it's because I want my artwork to go somewhere. And maybe, who knows, maybe Hoyoverse will be like, shit, this guy might be our North American artist or some shit like that. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? You don't know until you try. Gotta be able to try. Alright, so I think we have the main jacket pretty much covered. I'm just looking around, making sure. Yeah, I think that's good. So let's go back up before we forget. Go back up to the hair. Eyes, hair, okay. We did everything in one layer. Okay, cool. We're going to grab this color here. And just do some quick shade. Grab this darker shade here. Do some bits and pieces there. Some very light stuff. There you go. I mean, just basic shading. That's all you needed there. That's all that needed to happen there, was just some basic shading. Okay. Done with that, baby. Done with that. Back to the main jacket. Layer, clip below. Layer, clip below. All right, now there's going to be some interesting work that we're going to have to do here, because we are working with different multiple layers of clothing. You could, probably the smart thing to do is obviously do each of the bits and parts and pieces of the jacket in separate layers, such as this hoodie would be a separate layer, and these straps would be a separate layer, and and the inside of the jacket would be a separate layer. But we can work with all of this on one layer. So we have the main point of contention, which is getting the most basic shadow on the jacket here. So we're gonna do this. Certainly do that. This as well. Alright, so I'm taking this sword into consideration a little bit here. She's got it fairly pushed out. And I'm just thinking about like where the shadow would end up. But I bet you the shadow probably wouldn't go until like down here, based upon where the light source is actually coming from. So yeah, I think I'm not going to really worry about the shadow of the sword. Obviously the other artist didn't worry about it either, but whether that's because they knew that the shadow wouldn't be there or what, hard to tell. Or they just didn't care. I don't know. I care. I always care about those things, as you should. It just makes your artwork that more believable and that much more professional. We're going to make this shadow a little bit bigger just because light isn't going to be getting on top of this strap as much as what I think it is. Get this. Yeah, that's better. Looking pretty good, looking pretty good. Actually, her hair, that shadow is not right. That shadow is right, for the most part. If anybody knows why that shadow is correct, let me know in the comments. Initial shadowing is not bad. Good stuff, good stuff. We're going to add some here because this should be like, you know, some folds or something like that, right? Very thin. I don't even know if that will even pop up. Yeah. More so a think and the thought process than anything, but that should be good for right now. Okay. Next shadow layer. They go freaking dark on this stuff too. It's ridiculous how dark they go. There. Do some very thin outlines. It's almost like we're adding to the line art. Thinking about leaving a very small strip of light. Yeah, that works. I like that. Just fine. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm just kind of feeling it out. Yeah, that works. Fill this in. Fill that in. Jacket is coming alive, baby. And then we're going to do our darkest one, which is pretty much pure black. Shit. A she. That's pretty sweet jacket so far. Pretty sweet, Rose. Pretty sweet. Now it's time for our Shadow Gradients new layer clip. Get our brushy brush out. Let's get a nice fairly big size brush here. Let's do some gradient work, bro. Let's make this artwork work for us. All right, with, without, with. Whew. Yep, just a little bit of gradient. All right, let's do highlights. New layer, clip load. Skablam. That's what I'm doing. Okay, let's do next. Next! There shouldn't be a whole lot of highlights. This jacket is mostly facing away from the light. Alright, let's do the glow. Gotta do the glow. Now, inside of the jacket, we should be doing something pretty special. And we are going to be borrowing this color here. And I talked about this before, and it's called flashing, right? Because your darkest of dark shadows still are going to have some sort of light coming from them. And flashing is just a way of kind of telling everybody that I know what I'm doing. And flashing also has a secondary description too. It just makes your artwork pop. Makes it more flashy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, take our tool, and just do a little whoop. We might not do it on a glow layer though. Well, maybe we will. I usually like to work with brighter colors. Maybe we can do a selection tool here. Nah, we can't. It's too weird, too wonky. But it kind of makes objects pop out better from a really dark background. And we're gonna play around with this too, because you know, I'm gonna not be completely sold on it until I figure out the best route to go here. So we're gonna do one of these. Okay, and then we're gonna hold down Control, and this will allow us to select more. Or was it Shift or Control? Yeah, I fucked it up. I don't know. Or how about Shift? Yeah, so it's Shift. My bad. I thought it was Control. It's actually Shift. Okay. Now maybe you're thinking to yourself, this is unnecessary or whatever. This is artistic flavor, 100%. So you wouldn't be wrong if you're like, oh, you know, dude, you really don't need to do this. But I do particularly like flashing. Because again, like I said, it just like it just makes things pop. So we're gonna increase that line, go down there, so that way we have the line covered. So now we got both of the sections that we want to work on. And so I think it was correct to kind of go with a little bit more of a gray. Let's get that color back, because again, that's what the color that they used to flash with to begin with. And we're just gonna poop and then poop. Not bad, not bad. Let's go backwards a little bit. We did a little bit more. Okay. Now the best part too about this glow layer, now granted we did pure white, so we should be able to actually do tonal correction on this and hue, and kind of change the hue of the inside glow on Ambi here. And it won't affect anything else because everything else was done with pure white. I think a lower saturation, it's like it just needs a tinge of blue. Just a tinge. And that looks pretty good. We're gonna keep that there. Worst case scenario, we can go back and just erase that glow layer. But again, I like adding flash because, especially to deep shadowed areas, because it just makes it look good. It adds depth. It's kind of like, think about the ocean, right? And when you have objects in the back of the ocean and there's no detail to them, they're like essentially shadows, right? But the shadows aren't completely black, they're not dark, they still are out there. And actually, the further and further you go out into those depths in the ocean, typically the more lighter and lighter it gets, right? And it almost looks like it's just so far away that's barely visible into view. It's that concept right there. Hopefully that helped give you that imagination. It's that concept right there that we are doing this. It's showing that this code is really adding some depth out there, and I think that flashing is nice. We can always take it off, but I think if you can just take a moment to look at it, that flashing, you know, it just adds a little bit, in my personal opinion, a little bit of professionalism. It's a good artistic flair to get to have. So, base jacket done. We're gonna do the sleeves next. So jacket sleeves. Let's keep trucking. Are the straps? Yeah, the straps are the same thing. So, yeah, we might as well just do the straps. Let's do. Well, I'm going to do the cuffs different because the cuffs, they look like they're a little bit more metal, right? The cuffs look a little bit more metal than. Yeah. But if you even look at the finished product of what we already have going on, like obviously, you know, the one underneath it, I guess we should do this one as well, right? We should get the tag done since that's part of it. So we'll finish that up. But as I was saying, like that flashing though, look how nice that flashing just really brings out the midsection on Ambi after everything is said and done, right? Like looks really freaking good. Yeah, flashing is just so freaking nice. I mean, they did it with the hair, and so that's why I'm surprised that they didn't do it with. They didn't do it with all the other darker parts that Ambi has. Even with her skirt, you should be doing flashing with her skirt too. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other spots too that we could do flashing with, but meh. That's what I have to say. That meh. Okay. So let's get in here and get the tag done on this jacket. Oops. All right. Shadow layer. Da, 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 da. Right. And we're doing our gradient. And there it be. Don't really have to worry about any highlights. It could use a little bit of highlight, maybe like a little bit of glow. So we'll do that. Go up here, white. Yeah, that's fine. See how it works this way. It doesn't need it because, again, like I said, most of her jacket is technically facing away. And the only reason why we got the highlight on the green here is because really this is the outward most facing part of her jacket, which would then say that there is highlight on that. Okay. taking care of some things real quick. Give me a second. Also getting some hydration. Gotta stay hydrated, everybody. Make sure you're drinking water. Drink water. Water. All right. Water has been had. We are good. Let's see how long we've been at it. About an hour and 18 minutes. That's not bad. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Let's see here. Thinking. Jacket sleeves, that's right. I was like, what the hell were we doing? Jacket sleeves. Is that ring metal? Yes, it is. But we'll save that for when we do the buttons. All right, here we go. The reason why we put this shadow, by the way, underneath this bulge is, again, you have to think about a sphere, right? So if the light is coming from this direction and it's bouncing off this, well, the light does curl a little bit when it goes around an object, but for the most part, when you start getting underneath something, the light starts to disappear, as with a circle. So just think about that when you need to add lumps. And then, of course, it goes back to light because now it's starting to protrude again. And as an object comes back outwards and the light is going this way, as you can see, there is a cross section there, and so you will have that light back. There you go. Basic lighting stuff. So far, so good. Alright, is that our gradient? Not worried about like the pure black parts, so it is what it is. Alright. Highlight time! Baby. And see, I'm just putting the tiniest amount on the side. That's just because it's just, you know, the light doesn't stop or anything like that. And as I just explained, you know, it does go around objects, and this is the furthest pointing object other than these bolts. And so it's obviously going to get some of that love and attention. That love and attention, baby, hell yeah. We love some love and attention. Am I right, boys and girls? I know the girls love attention. Girls love attention. Okay. Next highlight color. And then, you guessed it, a glow layer of pure white. I think an Ambi is looking fucking good. She might be a little bit more plain. This version of her that I'm coloring this might be a little bit more plain than the Hoyoverse. And when I say plain, I mean like the Hoyoverse guys, girl, whoever did her artwork, clearly put more color into like these areas than what I am. I'm a stickler for uniformity. and that just might be my my own faults and stuff like that. But I like when something is supposed to be a color, and then that color needs to be that color. And if it needs to be a different color, then it needs to be a different color. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't like to put 20 different types of shades of green or anything like that around here when who cares? Like, I mean, it just, like, I don't know what that would add. Now, granted, if the light source is not a pure white light, like I'm using pure white light, right? So if the light source is warmer or colder or something like that, then obviously my highlights are going to change color because it is dictating upon what the light source is. But because we want Ambi to pop, most illustration work and most things, like if you look at a Vogue magazine, right, or any magazine where the front page of that picture, it's highlighted with white light because it's what's going to give you the most features. It's going to give you the most, it's basically you're highlighting that person's, or in this case, a character. And so we don't want to go with darker lights. And when I say darker lights, anything that's in the red to blue spectrum is dimmer than what we have with a pure white light. And when we do illustration work and character show-off work, we really want to exemplify that. The only time that we are going to be adding different lighting colors is if we have, obviously, different ambient lighting surroundings. And just an example, obviously, Ambi is a lightning sword user, right? Like, so her sword could have lightning around it. The lightning that's in the game is blue. And so if we had lightning charged on her blade, then we would show blue ambient lighting, but granted it'd be very bright because lightning is also very bright. And so we would have flashes of blue going across her clothing, which of course would still be highlighting the character and it wouldn't be fading into obscurity. It seems like when you're like underwater, or you're in a fire or around a fire, or sunset, dusk, evening, whatever, where your character starts to lose those details. And it's natural. We want to lose details and those lighting effects because, well, that's the point. That's the type of setting. They're either going to be somber or heated settings or whatever. And so the light is going to be drowning out a lot of the things that we're doing right now. And that's just how it is. But we don't want that with this. And any characters that we do from here on out, as far as character introduction artwork, we are not going to be using any other light other than white light. There you go. There you go. Let's see here. So yes, we got the sleeves done. That's fine. Good. Hunky-dory. All that goodness. All that goodness, girl. Let's see how long we've been going on. For an hour and a half. Not too bad, not too bad. Got quite a bit more done today so far. And is that top part gray? Yeah. It's so weird what parts they made gray on this and what parts they made red. I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you. But it is what it is, and we need to try and be as faithful to that as possible. And so we are going to finish that up. I just happened to think about that. I'm like, wait, these aren't like pure red, are they? And that is correct. They are not pure red. Neither is this, right? Takes off. That's correct. Yeah, that's pretty much pure black right back there. So, yeah. All right, shades. Don't really need shading on that one. This one right here, we do need the shades. The shads. We need some of that shading. Oh my goodness. Daddy, we need some of that shading. And of course, this interior. And this would get like a tiny bit of shade. Maybe. Just because it is a spherical thing in some way, shape, or form. It looks rounded anyways, so it should have a little bit of shading. Tiny bit of shading. Okay, and then next darkest shade. Boop. Just this ridiculously dark. Redonkulous darkness, baby. And see, this would also be a good candidate also for that flashing. We're gonna go up to the glow layer here, grab this, and this color here, I don't know if we can actually get this color. This should be like, should be something like that. Yeah, that's good. There we go. That definitely deserves some flashing. Oh, looks so damn good, man. That flashing just makes shit pop. And like I said, that's the whole idea, is like you're creating that depth and it's just highlighting these parts and it makes things just look alive, just professional. I guess that's the best word to say, is professional. So let's go back to our gradient shadow. Wait, gradient shadow, drop that down there. Good there. Good there. Below layer, pure white. Just a tiny bit. Since that is also protruding pretty far, so it should have some light on it. And we are going to drop down one little layer though, because we are going to need to do at least. Let's go here. There we go. And then grab that there. And as you see, I'm continuing this line I made. So a nice uniform line from this one here to that one there. There you go. Everything has method demands, baby. Method demands. Okay. Good stuff there. So now we are going to do the main jacket. I'm also just going to go ahead and make these pretty much pure black because that's what's in that right there. Right, it is what it is. Get rid of the shadows, and then we're going to go to that glow, and then go a little pale. Add a little bit of that flashing inside there. Nothing much, just a little bit. Not as severe as what we would do in these areas because there's just not a lot of detail that we're trying to pop out. So it just gets a little bit of flashing, just a little bit. Just a little bit of flashing. All right. Now we need to do metal bits, which I'm including these straps around her wrists as metal bits. Oops, I didn't do. Damn it! I keep finding shit that I didn't do. It happens. Again, if you don't miss stuff, it is what it is. Sorry, like. Luckily, this stuff is probably already like pretty much done because I do a lot of overage work. So I'm pretty satisfied with that strap just looking the way it looks, and it's insignificant. Like no one's really gonna give two shits about it. So I'm not worried about it myself. Salad, baby, salad. All right, now we're gonna do. I'm just gonna call it like jacket bits. Yeah, jacket bits. All right. Oh boy, here we go again. Well, there's probably going to be like a little bit of highlight, and then the rest of this should be just black. Well, shaded. This is shaded. Remember to point your shadows away from the light. So, I don't know if that's like kind of more of a crescent moon there. Yeah, that's good. Point the shadows away from the light. Okay, next killer. I think. Nope, I didn't. I was like, no, I'm forgetting something. If. Ugh. This color is so dark that really it's just like we're really not going to use it that much. This is slivers. This one is going to be a okay. So, all right. Next is going to be the gradient lines, and that. So we did horizontal for those. This is going to be vertical. The highlights are what's really going to be coming into play with this. To start making it look like metal. Okay. Alright, star highlights. Like I said, anywhere there's edges, just highlight the piss out of them. Because that is what metal does. That's what metal do. Some glue. Gotta do that glue, baby. Let's use a smaller one for. All right. Taking a quick glance over just to see if there's. I need to make the circles darker, so I'm gonna just. What layer do I want to use this on? We could do it on the glow layer. I mean, black isn't gonna glow on anything, so we're just gonna do pure black and just get these circles taken care of. Oh, I can't use the glow layer. Hell. But this one. There we go. Glow layer we need to erase out of these circles. Alright, I think so far so good. Alright. So I've been at it for about another couple hours today with more coloring. We got to... Man, I don't know what to say as far as percentage done. We're not quite halfway there. We're getting there, but we're not quite halfway there yet. But I think Ambi is looking good. If we put her other half on there, I mean, you know, I think we're doing the justice. The justice. But we'll see. Maybe I'll post this up on the Zenless Zone Zero community page and be like, this was my version of coloring, and so on and so forth, and just like see what's up. I might be inviting trouble though, because who knows, maybe Hoyoverse will be like, no, you can't be doing that. But needless to say, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We are going to end here, though, and we're going to get into actually playing Zenless Zone Zero, so stick around for that. Needless to say, I appreciate anybody that came in and viewed the stream today, and of course, anybody that is on YouTube watching this later, please like, comment, and subscribe if you feel so inclined to do so. And yes, we will get this done eventually, and as you know, and as you have seen, it takes time. It takes time to do this stuff. But I'm going to end it there. You have yourselves a good rest of your day. This is your host, Samurai Kit Kat, and you have yourself a good rest of your day. Toodles!